Hi, everyone. I'm Sanjana, J and J's Fireside Chat Coordinator, and I'm here with Dianna for another Fireside Chat. Dianna, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So to start us off, please tell us about your educational and professional backgrounds and the path that you took to get to where you are today.
Yes, absolutely. So my educational background, I have my undergrad degree from Spelman College, located in Atlanta, Georgia. My major was communications. That's what my focus is in. And then I actually will be graduating this summer with my MBA from Kennesaw State University. So definitely very excited about that. And then from a professional standpoint, I started with Verizon as a customer service representative. From there, I went into the supervisor development program. I did customer service frontline for a year, and then I went into the supervisor development program, did that for a year. I transitioned into a new organization within the company where I basically did quality assurance. I was a consultant. And then my roles and responsibilities transitioned into focusing on project management, communications, as well as process and policies. In that role, I also did a couple developmental programs, career developmental programs, which was really great, really enjoyed it, learned a lot, and definitely networked a lot through the company. And from that role, I went to supporting one of our call centers, and I was a operations analyst. And then from there, I transitioned into my current role under the go-to-market umbrella.
Wow, that's awesome. It sounds like you did a lot in a lot of different areas, and I'm sure you gained a lot of experience from that. So that's great to hear. So my next question for you is, did you have any significant extracurricular experiences in high school and or college that you feel really helped you later on in your career?
Yes, so I tried to stay very active. I played a lot of sports growing up, and so I continued that into high school. I played basketball. Then I cheerleaded for boys basketball. At that time, girls basketball was in the fall, boys basketball was in the winter. So I was able to get the best of both worlds. And then in the spring, I did track. And from there, also in high school, I was a part of the marching band. I played the saxophone. And then I was also a part of student council. I was the vice president for our senior class. And then from there in college, of course, in college, you can't do as much because your commitments are much longer. They're like year-long commitments. And so I mainly did cheerleading. And so I cheerleaded for football and basketball at Morehouse College. And then I also was a part of the Spelman Dance Theater as well. So the school that I went to, there's actually five universities within that same cluster. And so the cool thing is you're able to take classes at the different universities within the Atlanta University Center. And so along with cheerleading and doing dance, I took a couple classes, well, quite a few classes. It was about 6 classes at Clark Atlanta because they're known for communications. And so I took 6 of those classes there, and I was able to be a part of their news channel for the school. So those were the main 3 things that I did in college. But I definitely feel like from a sports perspective, just the dedication, the time commitment, that really prepares you, one, for life in general, but also for your professional career, because it teaches you persistence, it teaches you confidence, it teaches you basically just to never give up. And, if you don't get it the first time, continue to work at it, continue to practice, and you will get it the next time or times after that. From a communication standpoint, definitely majoring in communications, and then also being a part of the news channel at Clark Atlanta University, where I was an anchor and a reporter. That's a transformational or transferable skill where you have to communicate in any role, either written and oral, in any role that you go to. And so I know just at Verizon, presenting is a big part of what we do, because you're always, presenting to leadership, or you might be presenting to your peers. So definitely those communication skills I was able to own and foster in college, and therefore take it into my professional career.
That's awesome. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to the whole sports and student council and all of those things that you mentioned. I know personally, I can relate to the two as a college student right now, and I totally agree with everything that you mentioned about the skills being transferable. And to any young people out there watching, definitely get involved as early as possible. It'll help so much.
Yes.
You can definitely translate everything into your career later on.
Absolutely.
All right, so my last question for you is, what advice would you give to young people who will be embarking on their professional lives soon?
So I think, just like you said, to get involved wherever your passion is, whatever you like doing, whatever it might be, just get involved. I think that connection with people is very important. To your point with sports, I feel like I can work with anybody just because I've been on so many different teams. I've played different sports. And so working with people and having like a team player mindset comes natural because I've been doing it since I was 5 years old. So I would say, even if it's not sports, just activities in general, where you have to work with different people, communicate all the time. You obviously you'll work with people where you don't always agree, and that's perfectly okay. And that's actually good because you can learn from different perspectives, different opinions, and it'll just broaden your scope and your knowledge altogether. So I would say one thing you can do right now is to get involved in as many activities that you can reasonably do at one time, and still also focus on your schoolwork, but you'll definitely be able to use those skills just for years and years to come. I would also say with that, to network, and that is also a part of getting involved. The more activities you do means the more people you'll meet, and the more people you meet means that you'll grow your network, and you'll just be amazed at how things really come full circle, where you may have met someone 10 years ago, and then now you're working with them in your role, or they might be hiring for a position and your skill set matches what they're hiring for. And so therefore, because they knew you previously, you have that connection to, ask additional questions, or just ask questions in general about what they're looking for in a candidate, what is going on with the role as far as what you would be doing on a daily basis. So I would just say networking is always huge. That's one thing that I was told early on in my career. And now, as I've been matriculating through my career, it is extremely important, because you could have all the skills and all the talent in the world, but if people don't know about what you can offer, and what you bring to the table, then how would they know that they want you on their team? So I would definitely say those two things.
I completely agree with you. And I feel, especially on the point of networking, it's not really talked about enough early on in high school or
Yeah.
middle school. It's really only brought about in college. So I think it was great that you mentioned that. And I completely echo everything that you said. So thank you for sharing it.
Yes.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the session. This was generally a great session. I took a lot out of it, and I'm sure everyone watching will too. So thank you, Dianna, again for joining us.
No problem. Thanks again for having me.